More storms expected early next week. Richard Weathing of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 90 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready for the weekend. I feel like you are. I just was talking with Wyatt behind her. I feel like Fridays during the summer, man, it's one of those slow days. People must be already enjoying their weekends. Maybe they're getting out of work early. I don't know. But come hang out with us for the next couple hours. We got you guys covered as we roll through this free-for-all Friday edition here on the Miller's Edge. A few things we're definitely going to dive into. Quick reminder for folks that enjoy the breakdown stuff. I did a breakdown yesterday on the running game. I know a lot of people are requesting that, and so we went ahead and did one. I'll be the first one to tell you, man. I kind of had to put it together yesterday. Probably a couple things I might have missed, but I definitely tried to make it not too long, but try to cover as much as I could. But definitely go check that out if you guys haven't already at the Miller's Edge on our YouTube channel. We'll keep doing those breakdowns if you guys enjoy them. But remember, show us some love, man. Those breakdowns, you got to pull up tape, and I'm sure Wyatt knows this now. He's streaming his show. I mean, on YouTube, there's rules and things like that. They don't really like when you do stuff like that. So just know, guys, I'm doing it for you. And, everything's free on our channel. So all we do is ask, just drop a like on the video, show some love, subscribe if you guys enjoyed. I promise we'll keep doing some more breakdowns like that. And we'll discuss them right here. And, of course, during the season, we really look forward to doing that weekly, right? That's kind of, our bread and butter here on the show, really diving into the X's and O's. So that's what we'll do. We'll do previews. We'll do breakdowns. We'll get people on here to talk about it, discuss it, and all that. But we're doing a little bit of an early version of it where we're kind of going backwards, looking at Alabama from 2025 and talking about some things that could be a factor in 2026. So check that out. Again, it's on our YouTube channel, completely free to watch. Just show us some love. Drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Road to 5K. Now, we have gained some subscribers from these breakdowns that we've been doing, which is great. We're now, I think, at like 48, 12, something like that. So we're within 200 subscribers on our YouTube channel to hitting that 5K mark. So that would be awesome if we could do that. I don't know, before camp, definitely before the season, I think we'll do that. So show us some love on the YouTube.
Be ambitious before media days.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, Wyatt. See, we were rolling like spring ball, man. It was just flying up. We were doing a lot of spring ball talk. And then spring ball ended. I'm not going to lie. I was like, all right, we'll try to hit it before the end of May. Spring ball ended, man. I think everybody was like, all right, football season, we're going to pack it up, put it in a suitcase, and throw it away for the next few months. And it kind of slowed down. And then, to be fair, we weren't doing a whole bunch of like separate videos. We were doing more of just the radio side of things, which, I mean, we're a radio show, right? I think sometimes people forget that. Like, we are a full radio show. We just stream the show. But, we've been locked in on that. But now that we're bringing the breakdowns back, it's kind of picking back up, which is great, which we enjoy to do, right? I mean, I really enjoy doing the breakdowns. Now, the running game, that was an interesting one to do. Definitely a lot to point out there. And I'll be the first one to tell you, listen, I played the game at the high level and all that stuff, but now I play defense, right? So I'm sure if you watch, Landon and some of these guys that played offensive line, they probably can go even deeper. But I think at the end of the day, the most important things, I can cover the basics, the fundamentals, the schemes. I mean, I had to know all that as a defensive guy. But I did send it over to Landon and told him to give it a look, man. So I'll get his feedback. And I know he said he'd probably be able to jump on the show sometime this month. So we'll definitely get him back on. Maybe we'll discuss just that. But I know a lot of people definitely had some feedback to it because it's the running game. Why everybody, it's almost like a sensitive topic, right? I mean, because to be fair, there's a lot of people that, and rightfully so. I mean, it generates a lot of attention when you look at these numbers. And I had a little graphic that I made that I put up on that video. And sometimes looking at those numbers, Wyatt, it is kind of hard to believe. I mean, there's one thing like watching with your eyes, you clearly see the struggles that we had. But then when you see like these numbers, it's like, I can see why when people really, when they just look at these numbers, like, man, like 125th just in like, I guess, rushing offense, 123rd in yards per carry. And then it was like 110th for, was it maybe rushing yards? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 104 yards per game on the ground, which I thought it was like a 113 or something like that. But then I looked it up when I was doing these stats. I'm like, man, I mean, that is rough. And then you think about the last couple showings where like was it really -3? That was the net though, right? Like that was with the sacks and everything.
Yeah, but yeah, they came out with -3 in the SEC championship.
Yeah, and I totally understand.
Fun fact, the last time that had happened was when y'all did it to Florida in 2016, and they had -10.
In the SEC championship game?
Yeah, last time it happened in Atlanta.
Oh, dang. Well, I'm trying to think back on that game. I know we beat them down because that year, I definitely played a good number of snaps, but I was behind Tim Williams and Ryan Anderson. My point I'm making is I got some decent playing time in that game, and that was an SEC championship game. So I can tell you we were beating them down because I remember me, Rashawn, some of these guys, we were all at Mac Wilson, like the twos, we were in there, and we got like a solid chunk of the fourth quarter, if I remember correctly. So I'm just trying to think back on that game, man. Negative yards. I mean, we really were in the SEC championship game, man.
That's impressive. Austin Appleby had -32 by himself.
Did he?
Y'all were getting after him.
Well, yeah.
Remember they had worn those like really ugly orange uniform, like the all orange uniforms.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. I actually have a picture of us. Like it's like a gang tackle. It was like me, Mac, and some other folks. But I always mix it up because we played them in 2015 as well in the SEC championship game. So sometimes like those games I kind of mix up because like back-to-back years is kind of the same thing. I mean, they both were SEC championship games. We played Florida at home in 2014, but that was different. Anyway, looking at the rushing stats, it's not fun. But when you watch the tape, and I try to discuss this on there, and one thing I do want to note, like, I'll be the first one to tell you because I talk about it all the time. Everything starts with physicality, getting movement, right? Just really being a bully up front and setting the tone. Like, I didn't dive as deep into that on the tape. And ironically, the clips that I was showing, more of the issues were the execution for the most part. There definitely were some physicality issues, and I pointed that out when it showed up on tape. But I think the point of the video I was trying to make was more so like little details that I think can be cleaned up or fixed, that even if it's just a little bit of a boost, it should be improved. But I just wanted to add that in there because I'm sure some people were like, man, like, I mean, what about just the physicality? I mean, we've looked soft. We're not moving guys. Listen, you were 100% right. And that's the first thing that needs to be addressed. But the other piece was I kind of just lumped that under because I had three main rules. Not rules, but just three main pieces that I felt were going to contribute to an improvement. Number one being the coaching changes that we made. And so I kind of lumped the physicality and just kind of that intensity underneath like the coaching changes piece because I highlighted, Adrian Clem, Coach Owens, I think their intensity, their style, kind of what they bring to those rooms, I think that's going to play a big role. So I kind of just put all that under that umbrella. I also pointed out the guard play. I mean, just watching the tape, man, our guard play was rough. And it just reminds you why there was so much movement. I mean, you had Will Sanders, you had Dewberry, you had Vandermark, you had Wilkin-Formby bumped down the guard, then you had Michael Carroll at guard. Probably missing the guard. I mean,
Jaden Roberts.
So you guys, like, there's another one. We had so many guys there, and you see why. They just never could really find the right guys, especially on the interior. Now, don't get me wrong. Tackle had its own issues. I would say more of those came from pass pro. I mean, clearly there was definitely some issues in the run game too, but pass pro was more of an issue on the exterior. On the interior, the running game, it was tough. But the other reason I came up with this, I think I saw Kyle from Bama Football on YouTube had talked about Michael Carroll thinking he should maybe be a tackle. And my biggest thing was, man, when you look at Michael Carroll and you talk about the athleticism that he has, the power, the physicality, I mean, he kind of is like that whole package, great length. I mean, he's pretty much got it all. I think it's going to help out tremendously with him at guard, and I see why they would prefer him at guard because in this system, in the scheme, a lot of those run concepts, the pin and pull and some of the counters that you'll see them run, I mean, there's a lot of movement from the offensive line, particularly on the interior, the centers and the guards. And so I just think he's a much better fit than Vandermark, than Dewberry, some of those guys we saw play the position line, even Jaden Roberts last season. Those guys didn't move great. And I think him and then the projected maybe left guard and Will Sanders, I think he's a better fit as well. So I just think that will make a difference. And last but not least, I threw this in there. You got two quarterbacks. I want to be clear. I'm not saying these guys are Jalen Milroe or just because they look like them that they play like. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Keelan Russell is a great athlete, right? We saw that at A-Day, right? You could see the dude is explosive. He can take off. The dude can make guys. I mean, he's a heck of an athlete, and you could utilize his legs. And Austin Mack, I would call him a pretty sneaky good athlete too. I don't know if you remember watching him, take off, roll with it, scramble a little bit, and some of those opportunities we saw him in last football season. I think there's an element there. If you want to add that to your offense, that maybe you implement some more quarterback runs. I mean, just look at how Jalen Milroe really helped the running game in 2024. Now, again, I'm not comparing them to Jalen Milroe because both those guys, they want to sit in the pocket. They want to throw the football. But they have that ability. And sometimes you just got to take advantage of that. If that's going to help open some things up for your offense. I mean, we went from 179 or so yards on the ground per game with Jalen Milroe to like 104. So even if you just implement some of those quarterback runs, maybe it gets you up to 115, 120 per game. And I want to finish by saying this, and we'll keep talking about this more. I'm not saying, when I say I think it improves, even if you go from 104 to, like I just said, 115, that's improvement. That was the whole point of the video. I think you at least see something like that. When I say improve, I'm not saying you go from 105 to 180. I'll be honest, I don't see that. I don't really see a drastic improvement, if I'm being honest.
My jaw would hit the floor if they improved that good or that quickly.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. I think, again, improvement. Hey, 105 to 108 is improvement now. Yeah, you just got to title the video certain ways because you got to get people to click on it. So I don't mean I'm not trying to sunshine pump. Improvement is improvement. Just keep that in mind. Anyway, we got to hit this timeout. We come back. We'll keep talking about this and more. Get y'all's questions, comments, and concerns answered right here on the Miller's Edge. Join us on the stream. Join us on the chat at the Miller's Edge X, YouTube, on Facebook at Tide 100.9, all that and more. We'll hit it when we come back right here after this quick timeout. You're listening to the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey everybody, it's Gary Harris. Monday morning at 9 a.m. we'll kick off another week on the Gary Harris Show. We'll recap the weekend. Rodney Orr from TideRaceInsider.com joins me. Casey Smith on golf. We'll preview the Open Championship plus your phone calls and more. That's Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris
Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Find adventure, power, and performance today at Tuscaloosa Jeep Dodge Ram.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy. Founded by attorney and professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases. Known for real care and relentless
Sales event, thousands off new and pre-owned at Tuscaloosa Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. TuscaloosaCDJR.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well,
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sweltering sunshine, 93. Gentle southwest breeze, keeping umbrella handy for scattered afternoon showers and storms. They'll fade away this evening. We turn clear overnight, 75. Friday brings more hot, sunny weather with a high 94. Storms likely Saturday, leading to a wet Sunday with periods of heavy rain. More storms expected early next week. Richard DeWething of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 91 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Never miss a moment of the action. Download the free Tide 100.9 app today.
Into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Trying to catch up on some of these chats I'm seeing right here. Again, you always can join us on our live stream on YouTube, on X, whichever you prefer, any platform on the Tide 100.9 Facebook page. If you prefer to watch us do the show, kick back, relax, and hang out with us for the next couple of hours or so. We're talking about the little run game video that I did, a little breakdown. If you guys like breakdown, film analysis, all that, make sure you guys check us out on our YouTube channel. That's where we post everything like that, and we would love to get you guys in on it, because I saw somebody leave a comment. He's like, man, we got to help Christian get some more views. I don't know why. I'll say this. I don't know what's up with it, man. It seems like when you get outsiders, not outsiders, but people that aren't really, they're more national, or they cover other stuff, and they do, everybody's like, man, going crazy about it. You got one of your very own, man, who wore the crimson. You see the jersey on the back wall right there. I'm giving the people what you guys want. You want film breakdowns. Why is it so hard to get some love? Why? I'll be honest, man. I can't figure Alabama fans out sometimes. I really can't. No, I'm serious, man. I can't figure out our fan base. Because it's like when it's other people, man, they go, I mean, like Film Guy, which again, shout out to him. He's joined us on our show a couple of times. I mean, they're going crazy for it. You got one of your very own people who works with the broadcast team doing it right here for you for free. I'm giving you guys free game. And I mean, we gotta beg to get a like on our videos. Why? What's up with these Alabama fans, man?
Dog, is crazy. I mean, played for the university. You hear it in the intro twice a day. 4-time SEC champion, 2-time national champion, handing cleat prints down at Denny Chimes.
Yeah.
Brother can't even does a radio show on the flagship station for the university, the only sports station in West Alabama. And you got to beg to get a like, man.
I'm telling you why. You know, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm gonna have to start turning up some pressure. I'm gonna start saying we're not gonna drop the next breakdown video until we get like 2K views and like a certain number of likes.
You got to hit the hot takes, man. Alabama will get better at the run game this season.
What's crazy?
This guy is a breakout star. It's just some former walk-on.
I can't do that. That would kill my credibility. But I really leaned into the positivity on this video too. I said, you know what, man? I said maybe people really want the hope, right? You know, people, the neighborhood hope dealers, right? People like when people are giving them hope and reason to believe that Alabama's going to win a national.
Alabama will get better at the run game because of Jackson Lloyd.
Listen, well, I think he can help. Now, I will say, to me, one thing he struggles with, he needs to get stronger at the point of attack. But I think he's got great footwork. Pass pro, he's definitely pretty solid, and he's got a good football IQ. There's some things I did see him do during the spring.
See, this ain't what people want. This right here ain't what people want. Jackson Lloyd will help this offensive line get better and drop it. It ain't even got to be drop an 8-minute video on Jackson Lloyd.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, they definitely will. Now, I'm going to say I'm going to wait until this last breakdown we did. But once it gets some more love, then we'll drop another one. I already got some ideas too, but I'm going to be honest, guys. It takes a lot of time and effort to do these things, man. It's a long time.
It takes time. It takes effort. You can't even make money off of it because YouTube comes after you with it.
No, and it costs money because you got to pay for all this stuff nowadays, man. So y'all show some love.
You paying for film? Please, I ain't even paying for film. I ain't even paying for film. You probably are getting it. I'm not even doing that. I'm just finding, I talked South Carolina yesterday, right? Because I'm doing a preview of every SEC team. So yesterday was South Carolina Day. I spent 15 minutes talking about Dylan Stewart, one of my favorite players in the conference. I used a 3-second clip of him whipping the Virginia Tech offensive line. Demonetized the video. 3 seconds.
Don't scare me now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, because dang. Well, okay, yeah. See, you heard the man. That's why. That's so. Just understand, man. It's a little risky when you're playing this game, but I'm doing it for the people, man. Please, I want to keep doing breakdowns. Please, man, show me some love. No, I'm kidding. It's all good. If you guys don't mess with it, it's cool. Just probably not gonna get as many. Just know if you want more breakdowns, you guys got to show some love.
The OGs will always be there. The OGs will always show the love.
No, you're 100% right, and I'm glad you brought that up because we do have some, shout out to our chat and our listeners, Tide 100.9, because we got people that tune in every single day, man. It doesn't matter. We're talking about, I don't know, cutting grass, man. They're going to be tuned in. They're going to be locked in and hanging out with us. And for all of you guys, man, I really do appreciate it, seriously, because you guys make this possible. Regardless if outsiders or whoever else, man, we're not, getting all that love that we probably should. But it's all good, man, because we got you guys. The day one people, we appreciate you.
The OG's going to pull through.
No, they do.
And even then, some of them come back around. Like Ricky, I hadn't heard from Ricky in forever and a day. But game one, Ricky's going to be in here.
He is going, he'll pop in every now and then. You know what? This is my theory, man. See, people like drama. And when my dad was on here frequently, it just like you hear him when he comes on here, there's a lot of bickering, there's a lot of back and forth, which I get. That's what everybody likes, the bickering, the back and forth. That's probably what get you, Tia, KJ. Well, I mean, what, Q06? I'm calling all of these people out, man. I think what it was they liked the back and forth with the pastor of pain. And see, now it's a little bit more toned down. The voices aren't raised. We're not going back and forth. And now it's a little bit more relaxed. So maybe that's what they're missing. They're missing the toxicity.
Bama's going 8-4 this year.
See, that's how you get the conversation started. That's how you get the people that's how you get them riled up. My dad's got a method to his madness. You know what's funny? Because half the time, like when we're talking, like he definitely believes most of what he's saying, but he does it a certain way because he knows it gets a reaction. And you know what's crazy? He's not wrong because we'll be chilling and it's a smooth show. He comes on here, Wyatt. He makes one statement, man. Phone lines light up. Comments start dropping. Boom, boom. I mean, it's just, I'm like, dang,
app
man.
Messages, voice memo, the whole 9 yards.
It just starts going. But see, I can't do that, man. I'm not into the shock jock thing. I just like talking ball, man. That's just me. Anyway, enough of this.
That's why this works so well. Former player, the voice of reason, and then here I am just, hey, I'm some random media personality.
No, but listen, we got great information, man. That's the most important thing, though. I mean, like, just talking to the people, man, educate them on football. That's really all I care about at the end of the day. That said, a couple more notes. I do want to hit on something. We'll do that when we come back so we have more time to do it. But I do know somebody in the chat mentioned it. We do want to talk about this. ESPN dropped their top coaches rankings. I know we've been talking about these rankings, but this from ESPN, and this is like a national one. I think it's worth visiting and mentioning it because, ironically, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to spoil where Coach DeBoer falls on this ranking, but I was actually a little shocked, Wyatt, if I'm being completely honest with you, because I feel like normally he gets a little bit more love when you see some of these rankings, but I feel like ESPN, and I'm not saying it's a bad ranking, but definitely a little bit of an interesting spot. So we'll talk about that in a second. Plus, we got some updates on the Terrion situation. I know his lawyer had announced that there are some teams interested, but it sounds like they're kind of not narrowing it down, but they're a little bit more specific. There's some specific teams named that are in fact interested in signing Terrion Arnold that had even worked him out already, which is pretty interesting stuff because his lawyer is now claiming that he should be, or there's a very good likelihood that he'll be signed in the next 45 days. So very curious to see kind of, who those teams are, how this whole thing might play out, which again, if that ends up happening, that's great for him. I know that probably will be something to keep his mind off of things, something to really kind of work toward. And I think that's really important, right? Get another job. I just can't help but wonder, just like, how does this whole thing play out in terms of like, it's still kind of looming, right? I mean, like, we're still very, very early in the process. So I don't know. It just, to me, why it sounds kind of premature to sign somebody that's still kind of working through this stuff. But knowing the NFL, I would guess that these teams are doing a whole bunch of homework, and there's just no way they probably would be comfortable signing him if they really felt like there was just that much. Well, I mean, there's definitely going to be uncertainty one way or the other, but I feel like they probably feel good about the investigations that they've been doing if they're already working them out and so forth, which to me sounds like that's probably a good sign for Terrion himself in this situation. We'll talk a little bit more about this in depth and more after this quick timeout right here on this Free For All Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-9149 for your free estimate today. That's 205-393-9149. Asphalt Restoration, where smooth roads start. Roll Tide.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida. presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the
Your first payment for you. We've upped our protection program. 12-month, 12,000-mile factory-type protection. Townsend Honda, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Want to know what's going on with the Crimson Tide? Download the Tide 100.9 app today.
Into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, it's free-for-all Friday, so we're just having fun hanging out, kicking back and talking some sports. Been talking a lot about Alabama football. That breakdown I did on the running game, go check it out on our YouTube channel if you haven't already. We'd love to get y'all's thoughts, feedback, and all that stuff. I see we got Digger on the phone lines, man. We'll go to Digger here in a second, but first I want to hit this comment from Ramon in the chat. He says, "Hey, Christian, do you think this year an SEC team will be in the national championship?" So I guess he's saying just, do we believe they'll be in the national championship? It's not necessarily that they'll be the winner of the national championship. I don't know. I might throw this way. Wyatt's been doing a whole SEC tour on his show. So Wyatt will be able to kind of give us an inside scoop on all 16. Have you finished all 16 teams, Wyatt?
I will finish on Wednesday, but I've already previewed, I've already done the work for all of them. I just got to, put it out there at this point.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you answer that first. Ramon's question was, do we believe an SEC team will be in the national championship? So I think he's just saying just be in the game at all. Last year you had Miami, you had Indiana, Big Ten, ACC. Who was the year before? You had was it Ohio State?
Ohio State, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, so there wasn't even an SEC team there. Then the year prior was Michigan and Washington. So we haven't even had an SEC team in the national championship game since, 2022?
Since Georgia did very bad things to TCU for 60 minutes.
In 2022, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so that being said, I'll let you answer. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I would say, Texas, Georgia, I guess really, Ole Miss. Maybe might throw A&M in there. I'm sure some people would maybe. I think Phil Steele was kind of high on Alabama. I don't, if I'm just being honest, I don't see Alabama in the national championship this year. I just don't understand. I just think there's just so much youth and so many things that we're going to have to kind of get through. I don't know if I see us making it that far. I wouldn't be shocked if we make a little bit of a run in the playoffs. I mean, I think that's going to require us really playing some of our best ball for this team. But a national championship, again, I'm not saying never. Let me be clear, because I know people say, oh, why can't anybody? Yes, anybody can win. We have plenty of talent. I just personally, from a realistic perspective, don't see Alabama at that point. But why? Let me ask you, do you think there will be an SEC team in the national championship game at all?
I think your two best shots are Texas and Georgia. Now, Georgia, they are really, really good in a lot of places, but that wide receiver room is very, very young and very, very inexperienced. Now, they trust that room. Talon Taylor is a guy that they really, really like in that room, and they added Isaiah Canyon from Georgia Tech. So kind of that clean, old-fashioned hate rivalry. You're pulling that rivalry. You're pulling one of their best players into your roster here. Run game should be one of the best in the country. Offensive line, most of those guys are back. Gunnar Stockton's back. Defensively, you never worry about that with those guys they got on that staff over there. My question for Georgia, though, is can Gunnar Stockton's got to take that next step and figure out how to layer passes. And what I mean by that is he's got to be able to fit passes behind the linebackers but in front of the safeties. That's something he really, really struggled with last season, and Ole Miss kind of capitalized on that in that Sugar Bowl there. And then Texas, star-studded roster, and I'm sure our friend on the phones here is loving the fact that I'm saying this. Star-studded roster. Quarterback looked so much better at the tail end of last season than the first half of the season. You go and add two of the best running backs in the country. You add one of the best wide receivers in the country. You go and get Rasheem Biles at linebacker, who is going to be a nightmare to deal with. Oh, and by the way, Colin Simmons is there too. Mm-hmm. My question for Texas is the offensive line. If they can kind of have a better offensive line this season than they did last year, like I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. I have Georgia and Texas in the SEC championship. I got to put this out in like 2 weeks for media days anyways, and I've already done the work. I have Georgia and Texas back in Atlanta this season. I think A&M's got a chance. You just got to get a higher floor from Marcel Reed. I don't think Ole Miss is in there. I could see them making the playoff, but I think they lost a little too much, and I'm not in love with their play callers on offense, like with their offensive-minded guys. It's Joe Judge, who was the co-OC in New England with Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. That didn't look great. Maybe it'll work better in college, but track record's not too great with him there. And I'm going to call a spade with Alabama. I don't see them making it to Atlanta. I could see them making the playoff. I think it's a very real possibility. I think it's 26 is kind of that survive it type of year, because 27 is the year that's your window. You got to talk. If you're a school like Alabama or Georgia or some of these schools that don't have Texas and Oregon type of money, you now have to kind of find target years. I think 27 is the target year for Alabama, with veterans all over the offense, and defense will be a little bit young in the secondary, but still a very, very good crop of talent on that side of the ball. So for Bama, I'm looking at 27. 26, though, I could see them making a run.
Well, to your point, the good news about 27's defense, like they will be losing pretty much everybody in that secondary except for DJ Lee. I think he'll be back, but Xavier Brown, you expect him to leave. Sabb, Bray Hubbard. I want to say Red Morgan should be back in 27. I think does he have more eligibility?
He is technically draft eligible, but I'm operating like he'll be back in 27. So unless he goes nuclear this year,
which I expect him to have a big year, but I don't think it would hurt him to come back. I mean, especially with NIL being a thing, I don't think there's really a rush like there used to be to get to the next level. That said, personally, I think the way they manage. All right, let's look at their secondary for example. They rotate guys. Guys get a lot of playing time. So while they might have some new young faces in 2027, is it Jordan Edmonds? I mean, like I expect him to probably get some playing time this season, some valuable reps. I want to say Carmelo, what's his last name? O'Neal.
Carmelo O'Neal.
Yeah, O'Neal. I think he's also eligible again in 27. So I think they've got some young pieces that will probably naturally kind of just step up, get bumped up. Drake Kirkpatrick. I mean, like Ivan Taylor. They have a lot of young guys in the secondary that are still very quality football players that I think step up. So while they might be newer in terms of like the load that they'll see, I'm not as worried. Even like some of the guys, I think in the linebacker room, you should still have a healthy amount of those guys in 27 as well. So, yeah, I agree with you there. 27 definitely feels a little bit stronger of a year in terms of just your roster being ready to maybe make a little bit more of a run just with guys having more experience. Because then clearly on the offensive side of the ball, I would imagine Keelan Russell is, a third-year guy that's being heavily talked about preseason for all types of awards and whatnot. A number of, I think Latia Brooks and C.D. Morgan. Just a lot of guys that I think Jackson Lloyd and Michael Carroll, those guys will be kind of the vets now. I think it just makes a lot more sense there. That said, again, you can't rule out 26, but I agree with you that it seems like more of a growing pains type of year. If you go 10-2, that's great. You kind of have a similar kind of output from last season. I think that would be a big win. But I think it's definitely very possible that you see a little bit of a step back. Don't know how much of a step back, but I think it's definitely possible. That said about the whole point we were saying, so I don't want to go too far on this. Texas, Georgia, I agree. Ole Miss, I have concerns similar to what you stated. Pete Golden is my guy. I love Pete, man. One of my favorite coaches I've ever played for. But his first full year as a head coach, you just mentioned it, they replaced a lot of their really, and the offensive coordinator, Lane Kiffin, the offensive minds they had, right? There some really important pieces that they've had over the last few years in Oxford that I think played a big role in the success that they had. Can they overcome that? Did they replace those guys with quality replacements? We'll have to see. So I feel like Ole Miss is one of those teams where I think they'll be like a bubble playoff team, but I don't necessarily see them in Atlanta. And then LSU, A&M. LSU, I think they're going to be good. Looking at their schedule, it's not easy. And how quickly can you get all these new pieces to come together, right? I trust Lane Kiffin and his offensive staff. I think they'll be good. They retained the defensive coordinator, right? And he was he did a great job last season. I think they're definitely somebody to watch out for, but first years are always tough, right? And then A&M, I love whatever, I'm drawing a blank on all of these names. We're talking about so many different teams, so many people, man. I love the coach over there, man. He's doing a good job. They're recruiting extremely well. Thank you. It's a Friday. I'm just sorry. Mike Elko, I think he's doing a great job. The roster that he's been putting together, they've got a lot of talent. So, yeah, I think those typical teams have a chance, but we'll have to see. All right, that said, let's hit a timeout. We come back. Speaking of other SEC teams, we got Digger on the line. We'll see what Digger has to say and see what he thinks about this. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about ESPN's ranking of the top head coaches and more. Coming up on this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris. Monday morning at 9 a.m., we'll kick off another week on the Gary Harris Show. We'll recap the weekend. Rodney Orr from TiderandSutter.com joins me. Casey Smith on golf. We'll preview the Open Championship, plus your phone calls and more. That's Monday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show on Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. And on the Tide 100.9 app. Weekdays from 9 to 11.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th live from Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa. We'll bring you press conferences, live interviews, and updates from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Taco Casa. Starting July the 20th, join us in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sweltering sunshine, 93. Gentle southwest breeze keeping umbrella handy for scattered afternoon showers and storms. They'll fade away this evening. We turn clear overnight, 75. Friday brings more hot sunny weather with a high 94. Storms likely Saturday, leading to a wet Sunday with periods of heavy rain. More storms expected early next week. Richard DeWething of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media Tuscaloosa.
It's 93 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama fans are all over the world, and we are too. Download the Tide 100.9 app right now in the App Store and Google Play, and take the Crimson Tide everywhere you go.
And welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, we're about to go to the phone lines here. I just saw this. I clicked on YouTube real quick. I was trying to find what Coach Chelsea was talking about with Coach Saban. That's an interesting point. If he in fact said that, and maybe if he said it recently, that NIL and transfer portal is a big advantage for the Big Ten. I mean, it's an advantage for everybody, but if he singled the Big Ten out, I'm curious what the responses were. Chelsea says I have a clip from McAfee if you want it sent. Yeah, tag us if you can. Maybe send it to us on X. I think that's probably easy. Or maybe if you can do it on YouTube. I don't know how easy that is. But, yeah, either one, tag us in it so we can play it. I'd love to hear that clip and talk about that. 205-342-9904. Let's go to the phone lines. We got Digger first. Digger, welcome in.
Talk about adding to the toxicity. Alabama not going to the playoff, not making it to the SEC championship? What?
I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Digger? I mean, what are your thoughts on Alabama in 2026, this season specifically, this upcoming year?
Well, okay, before you plug your ears, okay?
No, be honest, Digger, be honest.
Okay. You're breaking in a new quarterback, okay? Yep. And we don't know anything, I repeat, anything about the offensive line. Okay, y'all keep talking about your Delgado center guy. He's a big guy. He was a big guy, all big guy, second team. Okay? I'm like, what? Okay, so you better look for the middle to be exposed. That's all I'm saying. Big guy, second team. Okay? Is that SEC material? I just wonder. You know what that tells me? That tells me they're going to run from side to side and never up the middle. Okay? But let me give you 2 good points for Alabama. Y'all got a weak schedule, man. Number 14 out of 16, y'all got it easy. So I don't want to hear the excuses this year.
Wait,
Okay,
14 out of 16 in the conference? Wait. We have the 14th hardest schedule out of 16 teams. Wait. Where did you see that at? Is he right on the... Why? Have you heard that?
Fallerstein ran with that all day yesterday. I said, okay, let's look at the schedule. Okay, y'all, you will look at it and see and tell me. Okay,
no, I mean, I've seen the schedule, but wait, not 14th out of in the conference. No, 14th nationally, I would believe that, but in the conference, Digger, there's no way.
Go look at it. I'm just saying. But can I ask you one second? Where is all this credence coming in for Texas A&M? What?
What do you mean? Why?
Well, I mean, they've got to revamp everything. The only thing they got back is one Reed Marcel coming back. Okay? I'm just saying, I'm not here to slam A&M because they're my arch rival and they're, next to Oklahoma, the worst thing in the country. But come on. What has that quarterback done? Y'all get upset about Arch, oh, man, he's getting on. He showed improvement from game to game. Marcel was cruising with the bottom half of the SEC in their schedule, and when it came to the difficulty, he went 0-2. Lost to Texas and Miami.
He's also the same guy that put his team in a 30-point hole at home against South Carolina.
Right.
But he's also the same guy that brought that team back from that 30-point hole to win that game.
And what was the record of that guy at South Carolina? 4-8 or something? I get it. It's kind of like the Mississippi State and Kentucky game with Texas. You spot them a lead, and they were very close to upsetting you, but you were able to pull it out. Okay, I get it. Okay, and that was a mountain to climb in the second half, and he showed his best. But he was just letting it go, letting it read, and he said, I don't care if I throw a pick or not. I've got to throw and make something happen, and it worked. It really did. Okay, so, yeah. Real quick, before I hang up, okay, I'll give you the kudos. It's going to be a wide-open race in the SEC, but the schedule plays part. Now, the problem with Texas, I know y'all said Texas in the title game. 2 things got to happen, okay? They got to get rid of the damn penalties. We were like 120th in penalty, okay? And the other thing is Sarkisian needs to call a better game, okay? Stop all of this going for it on 4th down at the 45-yard line, okay? And you don't make it, and you're giving them excellent field position, and you're putting your defense in a bad situation. He's got to call a better game, okay? Stop being aggressive and be a little bit more calculating, okay? That's all I'm asking. And Kiffin, you're not going to see Kiffin get in there because he's so undisciplined. He's good, okay, but he throws a clunker in there every quarter or so that have cost him the game, man. I wouldn't bet against. Look, I'm not betting for or against Kiffin because you don't know what you're going to get. It's a bag of nuts with him. Okay? But I'm going to end it with this to add to the toxicity because it was brought up yesterday. Can I ask you one simple question? Who is the number one brand in college football? Wyatt knows this too. Who is the number one brand in college football? This is for your audience because it's hurting them right now. They're upset about it because I dare challenged it. Who is the number one brand in college football?
I mean, I feel like I'm going to agree with the audience, Digger. Because I mean, you said number one brand. You didn't say number one program. You said number one brand. I feel like that's Alabama. I feel like that's Alabama. You're talking about the brand. It's a worldwide recognizable brand. I mean, I feel like that's pretty. Who would you say?
Well,
are you going to say Texas?
They've already done this. Okay, they've already done this. They've already done the forensic analysis and the forensic accounting. Okay, it's not Alabama. It's Texas at $2.38 billion. Where is
What
Alabama?
are these metrics? What are these metrics? Like, what are we basing this
The
off of?
metrics
2.1 million
include everything, including media. Okay, it's in there. You can go put your two little index fingers on the computer, type in CNBC report on brand or the most valuable college football program, and also The Athletic on the most valuable brand in college athletics department. Texas ranks. Okay, you're not number 2. You're not number 3. You're not number 4, maybe 5, but they got you at 6. Okay?
Well, you're not going to like this, Digger. No. I mean, I respect your opinion, but I will say this. I just used ChatGPT. This is on my computer right here. I just typed in what is the biggest college football brand and program. And it actually had the University of Alabama at 1, and then it says Texas number 5.
No, I went with.
I'm just telling you.
I had Texas at number 1, Alabama number 6.
Well, again, I don't. I'm going off of it. Listen. I wish I could share it on the stream, but I don't think I can share ChatGPT. Maybe I can take a screenshot. I'm not making this up. Matter of fact, I will take a picture with my phone of the screen. And then I'm going to show the chat right here. I don't know if you've ever checked it.
The same thing, Christian. It says Texas is 1. Ohio State is 2.
Tell me exactly what did you ask? What did you type in? Just tell me what you typed in.
I typed in the most valuable college football program when it comes to brand.
Okay. I'm going to type that exact thing in.
You can type it any way you want. The biggest brand in college football, you're still going to get $2.38 billion from Texas. You're not even at $2 billion.
So when you went, okay, I typed in exactly what you said, and I will admit it does say if we're talking about brand value, not just wins, but what a program is worth in terms of recognition, fan loyalty, media appeal, recruiting power, merchandising, and long-term commercial value. It does have Texas as 1.
I will throw you a bone on Alabama. On this report, it does say 10 miles long in fan appreciation. Okay? Everything else falls short. There you go. That's what it says. 10 miles long in fan appreciation. I get that. Okay. I'll let you guess.
We appreciate it, Digger. Very interesting. I'll say this. Of course, if you mention value, Wyatt, I feel like it makes sense that Texas is going to be up there. Now, Bama was at 3 on that list, but I mean, like, it sounds like it's also including, it says commercial value. I mean, I feel like talking about Texas, old money, all this, I think that's probably sprinkled in there, and maybe that gave the boost. I did just type in the most popular or whatever it was, the biggest brands, and Alabama was number 1. I don't know. I guess it's debatable. I don't know if
he switched from brand to value in the middle of that conversation.
Right. So the biggest brand, I think, is Alabama. If he's saying value, maybe Texas. But I mean, listen, I'm sure Texas has a big following and fan base and all that. I'll be honest with whether Alabama's 1, 3, I don't really care. I'm just rooting for my team. I don't know. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We got hour number 2 coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTVC.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida. Presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Dan Byer.
Spain and Belgium play in Los Angeles at 3 o'clock Eastern time, with the winner facing France in the semifinals next week. France a winner on Thursday against Morocco 2-0. U.S. midfielder Christian Pulisic's going to miss weeks of action because of a microfracture and bone bruise in his lower right leg. More than 33 million people in the U.S. watched Monday's round of 16 match featuring the Americans and Belgium. It's the most watched soccer match in U.S. television viewing history. In baseball, Brewers were 8-4 winners against the Cardinals. Marlins beat the Mariners 8-4. Rangers took care of the Angels 7-6 by scoring one in the bottom of the ninth. Jesus Luzardo struck out 11, and the Phillies 1-0 win against the Reds. Diamondbacks won in San Diego 3-1. Giants over the Rockies 8-2, and the Tigers were 4-1 winners against the A's. The NCAA announced Wichita, Kansas, in addition to Dayton, Ohio, will serve as the opening round sites for the 2027 and 2028 men's NCAA basketball tournament.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I wanted to tell you about our friends over at Lamparello Law, Education and Advocacy, founded by attorney and Professor Adam Lamparello, helping students at every level with mentoring, exam prep, applications, and career planning. Adam also represents students, faculty, and athletes in academic misconduct, First Amendment, NIL, and criminal defense cases, known for real care and relentless advocacy. For guidance you can trust, call 201-317-5115 or visit lamparello-law.com. That's Lamparello Law, Education, and Advocacy. Proud
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more info on marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa, call 205-345-7200 or click on Advertise with Us on our website.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th live from Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa. We'll bring you press conferences, live interviews, and updates from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Taco Casa. Starting July the 20th, join us in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Wyatt, I don't know if that's a little bit of a touchy subject. I don't want to seem like I might come at anybody in the fan base, but I was thinking about this, and I was trying to explain from my perspective. I saw you kind of nodding your head, so maybe you were picking up what I was putting down. But we were talking with Digger a moment ago, and he was basically talking about the most valuable. Okay, first of all, he said the biggest brand. I think that's Alabama. ChatGPT claimed that was Alabama. But then he shifted to most valuable. I mean, you're talking money, right? We already see the NIL value that they got. I mean, that's going to help them climb the ranks. That did have them at 1. Alabama still was at 3. I'll be honest with you. That stuff doesn't move me. But I just was mentioning during this timeout, as you heard, but for our radio listeners, I was like, I will admit, like, I think we do have a very strong fan base, and I don't know if it's because of all the winning, maybe a couple bandwagoners here and there, and I also threw this in there. I think some of it, too, is because people got so used to the success that it's almost like that's just what they're set to, and if it's anything short, they're not as passionate about it. I guess they're passionate in the opposite way, their frustrations, but it's like championship or bust, and then no, we didn't win, we're out. Not like completely out, but you get what I'm saying? Versus the example I gave, like South Carolina, I witnessed like my dad who played there, and I see like the stuff that he attends and all this, and it's like, man, they're just happy with whatever they can get. They don't win a whole bunch, right? So it's just all you like Garnet, Black, cocky, ooh, South Carolina. I mean, like, it's just like they eat anything Carolina, Gamecocks. They love it. You know what I mean? I feel like it's almost like maybe we've been spoiled a little bit. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. I don't know. I saw you kind of nodding your head a little bit. Do you kind of agree with that, or did you have any thoughts on that? Or maybe you were paying attention doing something totally different. I don't know.
I was just vibing with the rejoin music.
Oh, there you go. My bad. Okay, there you go. Fair enough. All right. Well, no offense to any of our listeners.
But no, I mean, you are right. Like, there's diehards and there's casuals, right? And that's not just Alabama. That's every fan base, right? The casuals are the ones that, you know, like if you and I, for example, right, we know that depth chart and that roster damn near like the back of our hand at this point. Like, if we could probably do a whole segment on Caden Strayhorn, right? Somebody who may not entirely be projected to compete for a starting gig right now, but might in a season or two. If I walk out just whatever to a restaurant here in Tuscaloosa and I go, hey, do you know who Caden Strayhorn is? They're going to be like, who? Who's this kid? So you have casuals and you have diehards, right? And so the casuals are the ones that are, you got your tail kicked in the Rose Bowl. All right, they're not really feeling it anymore. Maybe they're going to go cut grass instead of sit down and completely dedicate that Saturday to the Bama game, right? The diehards are going to be there no matter what, though.
Right. No, that's not. And you're right. It's probably everywhere. I think, honestly, I think what I'm trying to explain is partially due to all the success we've had. If I'm just being honest with you, I think it's almost like an oversaturation of success, and not just like from winning, but also like from like you mentioned the players. I think we've had so many good players. It's kind of a similar tune as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about like South Carolina. Like, they've got some good players in their history. But if you go to South Carolina and you're a good player, like, you're kind of really cemented. You come to Alabama and you win a Heisman or a big award, guess what? You got multiple other guys that have done that. There's just so many people that I think that's part of why it feels the way it feels, because we've had so many good players, so many champions. It's almost like it's just a different kind of...
It's like, oh, you won a Heisman? Cool, we got 4 others. Hey, you were a Heisman finalist? Like, Pavia is cemented in Vanderbilt lore forever. He finished second in the Heisman Trophy. Alabama's had Heisman finalists well before they won 4 Heisman trophies, and even since Mark Ingram's in 2009, right? A.J. McCarron was a finalist. Amari Cooper, I think, was a finalist. Trent Richardson was, right? Bryce Young won it. Tua Tagovailoa was a finalist. So, I mean, Mac Jones was a finalist the year that somebody else won the award from Alabama. And so you come to Alabama, and it's like, okay, yeah, you won a Heisman. Yeah, you won a Natty. We got 18 other national championships. We got 4 other Heisman trophies. It's still an impressive feat, and you will still be remembered very, very well, but you're not going to be this, oh my God, holy grail, you never have to buy food, drink, or a house in this city ever again, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. So, I mean, I guess the more we talk about it, that's probably what it is. Just so much success, man. I guess that's one of those things that's a little bit of a byproduct.
My lobster's too buttery.
That's a great way to put it. Now, I mean, hopefully we need to win a little bit more. Hopefully it stays buttery. Not as much butter on there as there's been, but I mean, we'll see. We'll definitely, we'll have to see. All right, let's talk about this. We never got into the specifics real quick. We got a few minutes here. Let's do this now. I mentioned Terrion Arnold having some interest. Some of the teams, according to his agent, Nicole Lynn, who has represented other former Bama players, Jalen Hurts.
I was going to say Jalen Hurts' agent.
Yeah, Quentin Williams. Matter of fact, Jalen Hurts is kind of the one that I'm not saying, okay. I'm not saying he made her career. Let me be careful. I don't want to word it like that. But he was like the one to really kind of give her that chance. He was one of her first bigger clients, helped her get more Alabama guys. And now she's kind of taking over the agency game. But it's really cool to see Jalen. It was her and Jalen initially. Then she's kind of really just exploded in the agency scene. Anyway, she represents Terrion, and she mentioned, like I said, the 45 days, there's a good chance, a very high likelihood that he will be signed. One of those teams, Wyatt, that in fact gave him a workout was the Houston Texans, D'Amico Ryans, head coach there. Any thoughts on that? I know, I think a couple other teams might have been named, Wyatt, but how would you feel about him going to Houston, man? I mean, you got Will Anderson down there, just signed a massive contract extension, rightfully deserved. If you're going to bet on anybody coming from Alabama that was going to have like a, great NFL career, I mean, he was probably one of the safest picks. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm still shocked. Bryce went number 1 to the Panthers that year. I mean, I know quarterbacks are important, but to me, he was probably one of the safest prospects I've ever seen. I mean, this dude, and he's still young. I mean, he's only going to get better. Anyway, Houston Texans for Terrion Arnold. Any thoughts on that, Wyatt?
Please, for the love of God, keep him out of the NFC. I hated when Green Bay had to play that guy. So please send him to the AFC. Make him somebody else's problem in terms of what he can do on the field, because it's a great ball player. And they don't necessarily need a true cornerback one because they have Derek Stingley on the other side. But Terrion comes in, he's the other starting corner. You start to really piece together that defense. I mean, Henry To'oTo'o is a starter on that defense. Yeah, they lost Christian Harris, but they got some guys behind him. Will Anderson. I don't need to do anything but say his name. Derek Stingley. And then now you add Terrion Arnold to that. I mean, the making of a good defense is you've got corners that can cover for about 2.5, 3 seconds, but you have defensive linemen and edge rushers that don't force them to cover for that long, or God forbid, longer.
Now with those two, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, man.
Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson, 2.5 at most. And then you got Terrion and Stingley in the backfield, and as long as Stingley ain't playing Devontae Smith, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I like the aspect. Again, we don't know if he's going to sign with them. I think he did a workout with them. But there was also the Colts, the Seahawks, and the Jets also mentioned as well, which looks like everybody is an AFC team except the Seahawks, who are the reigning Super Bowl champions.
Please no.
Well, why you say that?
Please don't
for your sake. I mean, shoot, that would be. You know what? He'd be paired back up with his guy Jalen Milroe, which normally
they could start the apparel brand.
Well, they still have that. I'm sure they still make money off of that. I mean, I still see high school kids. For all the fans that hate the whole Lank train, these high school kids are still throwing up Lank, man, to this day. I don't see that ending anytime soon. But anyway, I like Seattle because he'd be with Jalen. I mean, and normally you're kind of worried, hey man, when you're with your boys, man, you're a little concerned. Jalen, great dude, man. Great character guy. I mean, I think that probably would be very grounding for a guy like that. Then you talk about D'Amico Ryans being his head coach in Houston. I think there's two situations that have former Bama guys, and not just because they went to the same place, but just genuine people that could probably put their arm around a guy who's got a very sticky situation going on right now. I'm trying to think of the Colts, Jets. I don't know about the Jets. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I don't know about the organization-wise. I'm not sure about
keep him out of there.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Then you got New York media. I'm not a big fan of that one. Colts, I don't know off the top of my head really the roster. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. So we'll have to see.
Hang on. Because we got Minka and Malachi in New York.
Wait. You're right. Malachi is in with the Jets. But wait, Minka's with the Jets now?
Yeah, when the Dolphins did their fire sale with Jalen Waddle, they shipped Minka to New York.
Oh, crap. I forgot about that.
So you got a veteran?
That would be fire. That's a Bama secondary right there. I mean, because you got
a veteran who knows what he's doing in the NFL and was, essentially the right-hand man, at least from outsider's perspective, looked like the right-hand guy to Nick Saban on the field for 3 years. And you put Malachi in there, a guy that he played with and somebody who kind of understands what it takes to transition teams, right? Because he was there with the transition from Saban to DeBoer.
True.
And they played together for 2 years.
Man, that's a great point. I completely missed that one. Thank you for bringing that up. You're right. The Jets, Bama influence there. And to your point about Minka, man, Minka is a phenomenal teammate. He was always involved in FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. I mean, he's one of those guys, man, just, leader on and off the field, model citizen type kind of guy. I mean, so it sounds like the teams that are interested, they kind of make sense. People that can do their homework, right, with a lot of Bama ties, right, they can go back and ask a bunch of questions to former teammates, coaches, people that have ties to the program. So I really think, those all kind of make sense. We'll have to see. I don't know why I'm just intrigued by how this plays out, though. That still is a big hurdle. I just feel like we're kind of now we are, but you know what I mean? Why? Because just a week or two ago, headlines are saying, hey, possible life in prison. Now we're talking about, hey, what team is you going to sign with? I just feel like there's a whole bunch in between we probably need to get through first, but maybe this is a good sign. I will say, in terms of, and I know that's why we asked our lawyer, Adam, these questions. You got to prove, beyond reasonable doubt. And it just sounds like right now, they don't probably have a whole, they have witness statements, but that's pretty much, seems like that's the only thing. So I don't know. I guess we'll leave that up to Adam. He'll join us next week. We'll get his thoughts. Maybe there'll be some more updates we'll talk about then. But first, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling on this Free for All Friday edition. We'll talk about ESPN's top coach rankings when we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393-91.
Quick, it's easy, and it's free. Go to mylocalcustomers.com today.
That's mylocalcustomers.com. Mylocalcustomers.com.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rental. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sweltering sunshine, 93. Gentle southwest breeze, keeping umbrella handy for scattered afternoon showers and storms. They'll fade away this evening. We turn clear overnight, 75. Friday brings more hot, sunny weather with a high 94. Storms likely Saturday, leading to a wet Sunday with periods of heavy rain. More storms expected early next week. Richard DeWething of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 93 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The best station in the state, breaking down Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into this free-for-all Friday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, let's go ahead and pull up this ESPN list. I just had it, and I think I accidentally closed it out. Let's see. Top coaches, ESPN. Now, as I get this pulled up, here we go. I'll share it on the screen. Again, you guys can always check us out on our stream if you guys want to watch the show, see what we throw on the stream. Like this, for example, the top coaches, and boom, there we go. Wyatt, have you seen this list yet already? Have you seen like the top 10 coaches? No?
I have not.
All right, I was going to, okay, I'll let you guess a little bit then. Well, I guess I kind of just scrolled by. They dropped 10, and so it just goes 1 through 10. Do you want to take a guess? Did you see who was number one?
I didn't, and anybody with a working brain cell should have Kirby Smart in that spot, but I have a feeling they don't.
I was about to say, they didn't, actually. They had, matter of fact, let me see who wrote this. Hold on. This is from, doesn't normally say the writer? I don't see it. Anyway, that man that you see talking on the screen is who they have ranked as the number one head coach in college football. At least, and maybe I should go back. I guess they're saying like currently as things sit like right now, why maybe it's not so much of, I don't know, like what you've done or I don't know. Cause I think the criteria is really important when you make these lists. But that said, their number one head coach in college football is Indiana. Last year he was unranked on their list last year. And it says numbers to know. Cignetti is the first head coach to win a national championship in his first 2 seasons at a school since Gene Chizik did it in 2010 in his second season at Auburn. His 27 wins in 2 seasons in Bloomington are 2 more than any other coach in his first 2 years at a school since the AP pool debuted in 1936. Kalen DeBoer, just to throw this in there, won 25 games at Washington in 22 and 23. So Cignetti was 2 games ahead of him. Indiana, before Cignetti was from 1887 to 2023 at a .419 winning percentage, no 10-win seasons or national championships. And since he's been there, 24 and 25, a .931 winning percentage, 2 10-win seasons and 1 national championship. Also a conference championship. You probably should throw that one in there. I mean, they did beat Ohio State to win. I mean, I get the national championship kind of trumps that, but Wyatt, I feel like that's kind of worth mentioning. I mean, people don't really value them as much anymore, but when you beat a team like Ohio State and you win the conference, and I don't know how many conference wins they've ever had, but I think that's worth noting. But yeah, his record shows 46-6 and 27-2 at Indiana. What do you make of that, Wyatt? They've got him for the top spot. You mentioned Kirby Smart. I would probably put Kirby just because there's a little bit more newness with Curt Cignetti. I know he's had a lot of success at James Madison. You see that in the total record there. But I'm very impressed with how quickly he won at Indiana and how quickly he turned that program around. You know, that's the benefit of the transfer portal nowadays. That's what it's designed to do. You can get guys in and out very quickly. I'm assuming you don't necessarily agree with it. I mean, could you guess Kirby Smart? I mean, would you still put Kirby above him? How do you see this?
I'd still put Kirby above him because, like you mentioned, the 1 conference championship and a national championship, which, again, very, very impressive how quickly he turned around Indiana, because that was not a good football program whatsoever prior to him getting there.
Yeah.
Kirby won back-to-back national titles this decade. Like, within the last 5 years, Kirby's won back-to-back national championships. He's also won 22, 24, 25, so 3 SEC championships. He's won 10. He's had 10 wins every single season during that same time window, and not to mention the fact prior to that, he had a national championship appearance in year number 2 and was making the SEC championship time and time again prior to the turn of the decade into the 2020s, where he's kicked it into that next gear. I get the recency side of things, but if this is strictly based off like the 2026 season, okay, fair point. I'll bow down. But if we're ranking actual head coaches, even if we go over the last 3 years, Kirby Smart's ahead of. Kirby Smart should still be number 1, in my opinion, at least. Undefeated regular season in 2023. You lost by 3 points to Alabama in your conference championship, and that kept you out of the playoffs. 24, you go on and win the SEC. 25, you go on and win the SEC. So I'd still have Kirby number one at this point, but after last season, then okay, yeah, Cignetti's probably my number two.
And I think a lot of people would see it that way. And trust me, I kind of am of the belief that Kirby still holds that spot, even if it's by a small margin. But like you mentioned, the back-to-back national championships.
Until one of these other guys wins a second national championship, I'm not putting anybody above Kirby.
Right. And it's not like, like Dabo, for example. He won 2 national championships, not back-to-back, but in the span of 4 years, beat us twice. Thanks, Dabo. But what I was going to say
I wasn't the one that brought it up this time.
Well, just got to call a spade a spade. Listen, man, we're honest on the show. He hasn't had the same consistency in several years now, like Kirby has. Now, some of that consistency is he hadn't won a playoff game. I know people are going to throw that in there. But like you mentioned, when you're consistently winning the SEC, and we talk about it, right? The SEC is the top conference. You got to put some respect on that. I get the playoff record right now in the last few years in hot, but I think the consistency that we've seen out of Kirby Smart since being the head coach at Georgia, 117 and 21 all-time, .848 is his winning total right there. He did have, 4 first-place votes on this list, total of 90 points. Last year, he was ranked number 1. This year, Curt Cignetti took the top spot. But, again, I think people are really leaning heavy with Curt Cignetti into, the currently what they just saw from Indiana. Didn't really even, again, just from what Indiana was to what he's done in 2 seasons, only 2 losses. Very impressive. But I do think it's important to consider, a number of factors here. Georgia's path, Indiana's path. I would argue if you put Georgia in the Big Ten with Indiana's schedule, they probably would fare a little bit better. Georgia's probably got a little bit tougher of a path to get to those spots. Number 3. Oh, go ahead, Wyatt.
I was just going to say, you mentioned Brooks Austin earlier, and he put out a tweet about this because the strength of schedule rankings have now come out from ESPN. That's where Digger got that information from, by the way. He's right. Alabama does have the 14th ranked schedule in the SEC in terms of toughness.
In the SEC, though?
That's in the SEC. They're 18th nationally.
Crazy. Well, okay, so that explains the whole SEC in one in a nutshell.
They're one of the easiest in the SEC. There's still a top 20 schedule in terms of strength of schedule in the country.
So maybe he wasn't wrong. What's interesting? When we first saw the schedule, last season or when it was coming out, everybody was looking at it like it was so tough, which definitely looked tough. But I'm curious to see how Alabama's schedule is definitely manageable. I think the positioning of the games definitely is manageable. Of course, you got a 4-game stretch that is tough, but I think in terms of having some of those challenging, but definitely, I wouldn't say winnable, because I think Alabama's probably going to be favored in the first 5 games, right? I'm pretty sure
the only 2 games they're not currently favored in are Georgia and LSU.
Oh, wow. So they're even favored. A&M's at home, and then was Tennessee on the road. Tennessee, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know how to feel about Tennessee right now. I feel like they've kind of, I don't know, they were trending the right way, with Josh Heupel, and I was kind of expecting them to. I feel like they've kind of plateaued a little bit. They've had some of their top guys they brought in all dip from the program. I know they just had an edge rusher that ended up leaving the team. I don't really know kind of what's going on there, but I don't really know what to expect out of them this year. But that makes sense. So Alabama's favored in everything but 2 games.
Hey, check out my Tennessee preview here in about 30 minutes, and we can figure out what to expect from Tennessee.
Well, there you go. You heard why he'll be on here in a second talking about that. Just quick snippet. Are you expecting big things from them? Kind of middle of the pack. What do you?
I'm expecting them to kind of step back in the right direction, right?
Okay.
Playoff in 24, kind of in last year, but they also had the Nico and the Boo Carter situation that kind of hindered them a little bit. So, but I'm expecting them to step back in the right direction. Small step, but it is a step.
Fair enough. Well, definitely, I'll check that out. And make sure you guys, if you want to hear about good old Rocky Top, I know you guys don't like him, but we play him. It's good to know your opponents.
Right direction for Tennessee. Small step in that direction. I know we're on an Alabama station here, so.
Fair. I mean, man, listen, man, football is football. People got to, I get rivalries, but at the end of the day, man, we should be able to talk about other teams, man. If they're a good team, just call them a good team, man. Even if it's Auburn, man, you ain't got to like to do it, but so if you're covering the sport, man, it's okay. These people got to be, it's just a sport at the end of the day. Before we get this time out, I'll read a couple, I'll go to the top 5. We come back, we'll do 5 through 10. Ryan Day was listed as number 3. He had 1 first place vote. I don't know about throwing him at first place.
First place vote? No, 3 is fine.
Yeah, I was about to say, I do think 3 is more than fair for Ryan Day. He's won a national championship in the last couple years. Had a struggle beating his rival in Michigan for quite some time. But other than that, I mean, they're typically the top team in their conference, the Big Ten, which is now, I would say, up there with the SEC, just being honest. They've gotten a lot better as a conference. So, I mean, I think that's a very respectable spot. Marcus Freeman, they have at number 4. His record is 43-12 at Notre Dame. There's a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman. I mean, I'm one of those people, right? I like him a lot as a head coach, but he's also dropped some games he probably shouldn't have, I would say. And there's been some consistency stuff there, but definitely a really good coach. And I think they're probably trending in the right direction. Why? At least the way they're kind of putting their team together. I feel like they've been very active. But he's at number 4, and last but not least, 5 before we hit this break. You got Dan Lanning, who he's been solid at Oregon. I will say this: regular season, he's been great. Now postseason, you know, they hadn't been very hot there, but 48-8 at Oregon.
It's the same cat whose only playoff win is against James Madison.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Postseason, it hadn't quite been there. But, I mean, in terms of the regular season, for what that's worth, they've been very consistent. I think he's a great coach. Number 5, that's probably debatable there. But that's where ESPN has him. So,
see, right
why
there,
is not feeling it?
5 is where 4 or 5 is where I would be sticking Kalen DeBoer right now.
Well, you'll have to wait.
Eddie Kirby, they've got national championships.
Not to spoil it, but we're going to have to wait a little bit until we get to him. I'll just leave it at that. When we come back, we keep on rolling and we keep discussing 6 through 10 on ESPN's top coaching list right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 12.
250 sales event. Thousands off new and pre-owned. At Tuscaloosa, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. TuscaloosaCDJR.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well,
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
Who are resilient.
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Follow the Crimson Tide on their journey to another national championship. Touchdown, Alabama! On your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Into this Free for All Friday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're going over the top 10 coaches in college football. According to ESPN, we went 1 through 5. Curt Cignetti taking the cake, number 1, after leading his team to an undefeated national championship season a season ago, or just a few months ago, I guess I should say. Kirby Smart, number 2, Ryan Day, 3, Marcus Freeman, number 4, probably a little high, according to some people. I think we would all agree he probably is a little high on this list. Dan Lanning at 5, struggling in the postseason, but regular season wise, I mean, he's been pretty consistent there, but has struggled in the postseason, which I'd argue is pretty important. And now let's go to 6 through 10. We got number 6, Digger's favorite, Mr. Steve Sarkisian of Texas, 94-55 overall record as a head coach, 48-20 at Texas. Now, this one's kind of interesting. Why? Because, I mean, like, Steve Sarkisian, he's a good football coach, but there's just been a lot of inconsistencies with him, man. And then to add on top of that, it's not like he hadn't had a lot to work with. He's had some great support at Texas. Digger was just bragging about how valuable the program is. We know how expensive the NIL roster is. But then you also throw in there, I mean, just like the players that he's had, the talent that he has, I feel like they've underperformed for the resources that he's been given. Personally, I just do. I still think he's a top 10 coach in college football, but I mean, I think 6 maybe is a little high. I'm not like mad at it. I mean, because what's the difference between 6 and 8? Not really a whole bunch. But I don't know. He was ranked number 5 last season. They ended up going to 9-3. They lost to Florida, a team they should have lost. To the next 2 games, they had like overtime games. I mean, the quarterback, Arch Manning, that everybody's been raving about, I mean, he hasn't necessarily lived up to that potential just yet. He's got the most weapons he's ever had this upcoming season. We'll see how it transpires. What do you think, Wyatt, of Steve Sarkisian at number 6 on this list?
I almost wonder, honest to God, I think his problem is that he's the play caller. I think as a head coach, you have way too many things that you have to manage on a day-to-day and an in-game basis. Ryan Day won a national championship when he gave up play calling duties. He took them back and they lost in their first game of the playoff against Miami. Cignetti's not a primary play caller. Neither was Harbaugh. Neither is Kirby. And neither was Nick Saban in 2020. I mean, we've looked at the last 6 national championships now, and the primary play caller is not the head coach. I just think you've got so many other things that you have to worry about that he's so good that he can do both at a very, very high level. Mm-hmm. But you probably want to be able to do one thing really, really elite, and that's manage a roster. So there's some people out there that think Sark is a better coordinator than he is a head coach. I can't really grade him, quote unquote, as a full-on head coach unless he gives up those play calling responsibilities. Now that means you got to trust somebody because they're running your offense and your scheme, and it's your hide on the line if they screw up.
Absolutely. And I just heard Billy Napier echo that same sentiment, that he said he probably should have given up the play calling duty, that responsibility a little bit earlier. He was reflecting back on his time at Florida. And you're right, it is a lot. I mean, really, your job as a head coach, man, it's so much. I mean, you're a leader of men. I mean, you're responsible for overseeing everything. That's from nutrition to the strength room to the athletic training to the management of this team now, the coaching. I mean, it's everything. So then you're talking about game planning and prepping to call plays. I mean, that's a lot on your plate. So, yeah, maybe that does make a difference. I mean, Texas did have back-to-back CFP, semifinal appearances, 23 and 24. I mean, I would say they've underperformed personally. I mean, would you agree?
Oh, I do too. I just think that 23 season I felt like was one of their best chances, and they run into Kalen DeBoer in Washington, right? The 24 season, I thought they had another really, really strong chance. And quite frankly, they went up against a guy in Ohio State that Ryan Day gave up those play calling duties. What happens if Sark did the same thing that season, right? And even with that quote unquote mistake by keeping the play calling duties from Sark, they were a whiffed block from a right tackle away from potentially going to the national championship and playing Notre Dame. Just, Jack Sawyer made a really damn good play in that semifinal game. So they have underperformed. No conference championship yet, although they got really close in that overtime game against Georgia. He's won a conference title as a head coach. Remember, they beat Oklahoma State in 2023 to make the college football playoff. But haven't won an SEC title. You made it to the semifinal, but you beat up on Clemson, who probably shouldn't have been there anyways, and Cam Scatterbo went nuclear and scared the living crap out of you in that Peach Bowl. And then you run into Ohio State and lose. So, I think they've underperformed. This, to me, feels like the all-in year for Texas. If they don't do it this year, something's got to change. And I don't know what it is. To me, it would be start giving up play-calling duties. But I don't know if he's ever going to do that.
We'll have to see. Like I said, the 6 ain't like terrible, but maybe I may be bumming down. I don't know. Maybe not. But really good
I don't know who's behind him. This feels like the right spot for Sark. Again, in my list, I'd have Kalen DeBoer above him.
Yeah.
But 6 kind of feels like the right spot.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm not mad at it. 7, 8, I think is all fair for, to me, it depends on, I guess, who you ask. Everybody's going to view this different. Lane Kiffin is number 7, though. I know you're maybe expecting Coach DeBoer there. Got Lane Kiffin right there. So he's going to take that 7th spot. I know we're kind of running out of time, so I'll be a little bit quicker. This one's a little bit shorter than Mike Elko at 8. Still no Kalen DeBoer here. Done a nice job at Texas A&M, but probably a little early to start kind of throwing him above probably somebody like Kalen DeBoer, in my opinion, just given that just a couple years ago he did coach his team to a national championship appearance. Kyle Whittingham, Michigan's new head coach at number 9. And then last but not least, get this. Tied for 10th, you've got Mario Cristobal and Kalen DeBoer. So I'll just say this. We're very honest on this show. I mean, we've talked about this. We go back and forth. Me and my dad always do this, but we've talked a little bit about these rankings. I think we're doing the SEC rankings and where this conversation really was had. But when you look at Kalen DeBoer and what he's done as a head coach, it really depends on if you're going to take the glass half full perspective or the glass half empty perspective. I'll explain what that means on the other side of this break because we got to take a time out. When we come back, we'll give our thoughts on Kalen DeBoer being named for a tie at number 10 on ESPN's list next to Mario Cristobal. So two coaches that have had national championship game appearances, but maybe not as much love as some of the other gentlemen that are listed ahead of them. We got to hit this time out. We come back. I'll explain what I mean by that, and we'll wrap things up on this free-for-all Friday edition of Miller.
Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Tuscaloosa's destination for iconic Jeeps. Owner loyalty earns $1,500 cash back on a new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Do you have cracks or potholes that are dragging down your property's appeal? Hey, I'm Christian Miller, and at Asphalt Restoration, we transform driveways and parking lots with expert repairs, new paving, or resurfacing. Fast, durable, and family-owned quality that you can trust. Don't let small issues turn into big expenses. Call 205-393.
Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
The best sports talk in the state. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Real quick on this Free-for-All Friday edition as we wind things down. And we talked before we hit that timeout about Kalen DeBoer being ranked in a tie at number 10 on this list with Mario Cristobal. Let's read the numbers to know. Again, they mentioned his record overall, 17 as a head coach, .770 record or winning percentage, 28-8 at Alabama. Last year's ranking, they had him at number 7. So here are the numbers to know. They say he is 20-6 against ranked opponents. His .77 winning percentage is the third best by head coach, minimum of 15 games, since the AP poll era began in 1936, trailing Frank Lee, whatever, or no disrespect, Pete Carroll. And over his career, DeBoer's teams are 10-5 outright as an underdog. the best winning percentage by any head coach whose team has been an underdog in at least 10 games since 1978. They asked, I guess, the person here, you had him ranked 6. 5 of your colleagues left him off their ballot. So that 5 people didn't have him on their ballot, which is even, that's even more disrespectful.
Goofy.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. It says, no, I believe he has been able to win at every stop with fewer resources and less talent. It's only a matter of time before he gets tied back. DeBoer enters the season with 20 wins against top 25 teams since 21, second most among active head coaches. Bama fans don't have patience, but that's what it's going to take, along with an understanding of the days of Nick Saban-esque dynasties are probably over. DeBoer is a proven winner, but taking over for Saban was a lose-lose situation for anyone. Give him a minute. So that was the response of one of the, I guess, voters here. And basically what I was describing, just to put a bow on this real quick, the highs and lows of Coach DeBoer, I think are really kind of what stands out. When I say glass half full, glass half empty, if you view it from the perspective that, hey, he's got all these ranked wins, he's led his team to a national championship appearance, he's won conference championships, he led his team to the SEC championship, all very strong, accolades right on his resume and things that you should definitely be confident about, without a doubt. But the one thing that looms are going to be those poor performances. The Florida State game, Indiana game, SEC championship game against Georgia, losing to Vanderbilt, even though they're a better team. A lot of people would consider that, saying, hey, man, you just can't do that at Alabama, right? Oklahoma on the road in 24, the Michigan Bowl game. There's just the way we have lost, really. It's not even so much that you lost the games, more so the fashion in which you lost really left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, right? And then it creates this cloud, I feel like, that kind of looms over a lot of the good stuff that he has done. Would you agree with that, Wyatt? Like, that's kind of one of the biggest issues. Let's say you take half of those games, maybe say you take 4 of them, 2 of them end up being wins, you win the games you should have won, and then the other 2, say you still lose them, but you're not getting beat just physically on the line of scrimmage. You're not getting dominated in a fashion that people haven't really seen at Alabama. I think without a doubt he's probably top 6 easily on this list.
Yeah, we've seen Alabama lose games before. What we haven't seen is Vandy punching you in the mouth and you are just unable to respond. Or when you do, your defense just lets Vandy keep going. Tennessee, right? There were so many. You've watched the film. I've watched the replay multiple times. There were so many times in that Tennessee game on the road in Neyland Stadium that they could have put that game away, or they could have, had a 14, a 21, 28-point lead, and then we're not even worrying about that. And then to get punched in the mouth on the road against Oklahoma and Florida State earlier in 2025, that's the jarring aspect that people aren't quite used to seeing. So like you said, take the Vandy game, flip it to a win, right? Take the Tennessee game, flip it to a win. Maybe instead of losing by 21, you lose by 10 in Norman. Maybe instead of losing by, 34-17 against Florida State, maybe you lose by a touchdown, right? But you really started to see that switch this past season, second half of the year, right? There were a lot of times where Missouri kept punching them in the mouth and they responded, right? South Carolina kept doing it and they responded and won that game. Oklahoma did it in Tuscaloosa, and as tough as that game was, they still did a really good job of putting themselves in a position to go win that football game at the end of it there. And then Georgia and Indiana, you were so beat up and injured, okay, that's disappointing as well. So I think you're right. If you flip some of these, maybe you'd still lose a couple of them, but they're not as just beat you down. I'd say he's probably in the spot where I'd put him, right? I look at it. I look at it as glass half full, because I try to be, positive around most teams in the SEC. Emphasis on most. So yeah, I think if it's glass half full, you probably are sticking him in that 7 to 6 range, and if you're glass half empty, he's fringe top 10.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, consistency and performances, I think, are the biggest. Even in some of the wins, we talked about this yesterday. I mean, we should have lost to South Carolina the past 2 years. I'm just being honest. That is a fact. That's not me trying to hate. I'm just being honest. We've won those games.
if Bo Prabula could read a defense, they had a receiver wide open on that Dijon pick.
Oh, yeah, you're Missouri, yeah. I forgot about it. So, I think when people look like, and then unfortunately they're so used to the dominant fashion that Alabama was winning as. I think there's, just a little scrutiny there, and I'll leave it at this. I think Mike Johnson had mentioned this, and it's so fitting from a former player of Coach Saban. He talked about the process, but he's 100% right. If you just focus on the results, there's a lot to just say, hey, man, wipe your hands. Hey, Alabama's been solid last couple of years, right, from a results perspective. But when you talk about the process, right, if you really kind of look at the inner workings, there is some stuff to definitely to discuss there. And I think he's got a fair point making that. That will do it for us on this Free For All Friday. Great show, man. Appreciate Wyatt behind the glass taking over as we wrap things up. He's got his show up next. He's going to do his Tennessee breakdown, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. He'll get you guys ready for that Tennessee week. Rocky Talk, know what to expect. And real quick, don't forget about our friends over at Lamprella Law Education and Advocacy. If you find yourself in any situation, any criminal defense matter, NIL, academic misconduct, you name it, they've got you covered for affordable prices. That's the most important thing. Of course, they'll go to war for you, but they'll do it for an affordable price. Plus, they offer all other services like academic and career planning, a whole bunch of stuff for high school, college, and graduate students that will make sure you guys are getting those straight A's and in the best position for life after you graduate. So make sure you guys check out Lamprella Law, lamprella-law.com. That is Lamprella Law, the official representation right here on the Miller's Edge. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week for a Monday Madness edition right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.